And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's the first edition of Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region in the year 2021. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha, wishing you a happy and prosperous new year. Today we begin a review of the major developments in the Niger Delta region. However, before we go into issues of 2020, we'll bring to you a report on mixed reactions trailing the recent appointment of Mr. Akugha as interim administrator of the NDDC. And now to major developments of 2020 in the Niger Delta. Last year, the Niger Delta witnessed a relatively restive ambience following renewed calls by oil-producing communities and political leaders in the region for restructuring and resource control. In our report today, we take a flashback on the campaign for social justice as championed by several actors in the Niger Delta struggle. Finally, on the program today, we take a retrospective look at how the ongoing forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) fared in the year 2020. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, determined to make a difference.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. More Niger Deltans have continued to debate the legality or otherwise of the recent appointment of Mr. Akugha as interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC). While those describing Mr. Akugha's appointment as illegal have called for his immediate replacement with a properly constituted board, others insist that President Muhammadu Buhari acted within the ambit of the law in the recent appointment.
On December 12, 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Akugha interim administrator of the NDDC. Akugha's appointment followed the disbandment of the Professor Keme Bradikumo-led Interim Management Committee in line with a court order restraining its members from remaining in office. Ever since, it has been one appointment, too many reactions. In the camp of Niger Deltans who are not comfortable with the current leadership structure of the NDDC are those clamoring for an immediate constitution and inauguration of a board to oversee affairs of the commission. The uproar greeting Akugha's recent appointment is traceable to past events in the NDDC. In August 2019, President Buhari nominated a board comprising 16 members whose names were forwarded to the Senate for confirmation. After the Pius Odubu-led board was expeditiously confirmed by the Senate, President Buhari made a U-turn and disbanded the board. The president had gone ahead to appoint an interim management committee led by Dr. Joy Nunye in lieu of a substantive board for the NDDC.
It is not acceptable to the people of the region. Mr. President should cancel the appointment of Mr. Akugha and reconstitute the board for the NDDC. We have been clamoring for that.
If you continue to run a commission that is so sensitive to the developmental needs of the people of Niger Delta with sole administrator, it therefore means that they cannot achieve anything meaningful. We as youth of Niger Delta, we are tired, we are unhappy, and we are going to confront this monster once and for all.
Contrary to the position that appointing an interim management to oversee affairs of the NDDC amounts to illegality, sympathizers of President Buhari have argued that the law establishing the NDDC allows the president to tinker with the commission's management whenever the need for corporate good governance arises. Section 23 of the NDDC Act specifically provides that, subject to the provisions of this Act, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, may give the Commission directives of a general nature or relating generally to matters of policy with regards to the performance by the Commission of its functions, and it shall be the duty of the Commission to comply with the directives.
Such directives must be complied with. So what the President has done in appointing a sole administrator in line with that particular section of the NDDC Act is not only in order, but it's in the interest of the NDDC and indeed the entire Niger Delta region. There is no basis for this clamor. We should allow the President's directives to hold sway, ensure that the forensic audit is conducted, ensure that the sole administrator has the opportunity to hold forth the NDDC pending when the forensic audit has been concluded, and then have a board be appointed on a clean slate.
Niger Deltans opposed to the current leadership of the NDDC have equally maintained that the most senior civil servant in the NDDC should have emerged as the Commission's interim administrator following the disbandment of the immediate past Interim Management Committee. However, others argue that Mr. Akugha, who was appointed Acting Executive Director of Finance and Administration in August last year, was the most senior serving official in the NDDC, whose appointment followed due process. They recall that Mr. Akugha, who replaced the late Acting Executive Director of Finance and Administration, Chief Ibanga Etang, was not party to the legal tussle that led to the disbandment of the previous interim management, making his appointment a virtue of necessity. Mr. Akugha's appointment is described as well-deserved.
With the recent court judgment restraining the Interim Management Committee from working, they couldn't have been a vacuum. I think the appointment of the interim administrator was to fill that vacuum because the agency cannot run in a vacuum. So I think it's the best option at the moment. While the region is desirous of a board, I think that we need to first complete the forensic exercise, which I believe that the interim administrator will drive to a logical conclusion. And I'm also sure that appointment is with a short term. Soon after that, I think we'll have a board that will come on a clean slate.
He's a lawyer. He is a chartered accountant. He comes with a high sense of purpose to service. It makes a lot of sense to have him so appointed. So we are saying that it will help the region.
Mr. Akugha, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and solicitor of the Supreme Court, is a former general manager of AKWA'S Savings and Loans Limited, a mortgage bank owned and operated by the AKWA state government. With his recent appointment, he has the mandate to supervise the ongoing forensic audit of the NDDC, which expectedly will be concluded by April this year.
There's no time to waste. What we have done now is to hit the ground running. I met with the directors. I have told them we had to sit there, right there on the spot. We look at the vision of redeeming the image of the Niger Delta. We are going to change the narrative. Hitherto, you have situations where people rush to places to do projects that state governors had already invested. They want to go and take advantage of that. We are saying no, there should be another trajectory for developing the Niger Delta.
While concerned Niger Deltans are divided in their opinion on the current leadership composition of the NDDC, they all look forward to a successful forensic audit that is capable of midwifing a rejuvenated commission empowered to carry out its mandates in the Niger Delta. The implication is that the government of President Buhari has the moral obligation to ensure that, unlike similar exercises in the past, the ongoing forensic audit of the NDDC provides expected outcomes in the collective interest of distraught oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And now to our review of major developments in the Niger Delta for the year 2020. It will be recalled that the outgoing year 2020 witnessed renewed calls for a restructured federation as well as demand for the operation of fiscal federalism to enable oil-producing states in the Niger Delta have a fair share of resources generated from crude oil extraction in the region. This report, correspondent Tekena Milfori takes a flashback at the campaign for restructuring and resource control in the year 2020.
"2020 goes down in recent history as a year of monumental challenges in Nigeria's national life. The outbreak of the deadly coronavirus disease in the month of March led to a crash in the price of crude oil in the international market. After the country's gross domestic product contracted for the second consecutive quarter, Nigeria in November 2020 slipped into economic recession. In the midst of their economic woes, Nigerians had the growing menace of insecurity to contend with. There was a general feeling of disillusionment over the federal government's inability to effectively tackle the twin challenges of poverty and insecurity in the land. In a virtual meeting on Independence Day, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, one of Nigeria's most revered Christian clerics, had underscored the urgent need to restructure the Nigerian Federation to avert a likely disintegration of an unstable union.
Without any doubt, we must restructure and do it as soon as possible. A united state of Nigeria is likely to survive much more than our present structure.
In the outgone year, not a few ethnic nationalities held peaceful protests at different locations in the Niger Delta, demanding inclusion in the oil and gas industry. One of such protests was organized in Baramatu Kingdom in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State in July 2020.
We will ensure that companies that are mining oil in our territory do so no more until we are given an opportunity of first refusal.
If they don't want us house, we are ready for them. Our own will be more than COVID-19. The women, we are ready.
Before this time, several groups had intensified campaigns for a restructured federation that allows for the operation of fiscal federalism in the country. They were unequivocal in their demand for a process of social engineering that would ultimately address inequities in the distribution of Nigeria's economic resources among its federating units.
Restructure Nigeria, and the Niger Delta is able to control its resources, manage this resource, pay royalty to the federal government as it was in the First Republic. In the First Republic, the federal government only had 15 items at the exclusive list. The rest of the items, functional items of government, belong to the regions. But today, what do we find? The federal government have about 68 items in the exclusive list. In fact, the federal government want to even embark on a construction of rural roads.
The Niger Delta has dealt with Europeans for 500 years. Our people, our ancestors, traded with them. But this is not the only oil that we have. We had palm oil here. And we traded 200 years with Europe. And the cities prospered there. Asaba, Sabasi, Abo, Patani, Ganagana. All those cities, palm oil. There was no fight. There was no violence then. It is because we were in charge of that business. There was no violence, nobody got killed. There's violence now because the government of Nigeria that claimed to be independent is the one that converted us to a colony. And once you are called a colony, there's only one legitimate response. You fight back.
In November 2020, governors and leaders of 6 states comprising the South-South geopolitical zone met with the federal government's delegation in Port Harcourt to consider issues giving rise to agitations and unrest in Nigeria's oil-rich region. At the meeting, the governors and other stakeholders demanded a restructured Nigerian Federation for equitable distribution of resources, security and lasting peace in the country.
Creating a powerful center, controlling and distributing all the resources, most often unevenly. There are now strong desire that we need to restructure the country in order to guarantee peace, security, stability, and progress.
What are we looking for? We are looking for political stability. We are looking for social harmony. We are looking for sustainable development. We are looking for peace and security.
Despite renewed agitations over perceived economic marginalization by several groups in the Niger Delta, the year 2020 did not witness resurgence of violence. For close watchers of the ongoing peace process, it is a welcome development that offers the federal government and agitated communities an ample opportunity for expanded dialogue, which is expected to foster peace building in the Niger Delta.
Inside the Niger Delta. Heritage Bank. Service, performance, respect, integrity, innovation, tenacity, excellence. Heritage Bank, your timeless wealth partner. Azikel Group. Oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability, and infrastructure development.
President Muhammadu Buhari's call in October 2019 for a forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) from its inception in 2001 to August 2019 was carried out in the year 2020. However, there was a dramatic twist to the inquest into the activities of the NDDC following a parallel probe of the Commission by the National Assembly. In this report, we take you back to the twists and turns characterizing the forensic audit of the NDDC in the year 2020. At the request of state governors in the Niger Delta, President Muhammadu Buhari in October 2019 ordered a forensic audit of the NDDC. Established in 2000 through an act of parliament, the NDDC was mandated to initiate and execute projects and programs to address multifaceted problems plaguing the region in the following areas: environmental degradation, health challenges arising from constant hydrocarbon pollutions, infrastructure deficit, widespread poverty, insecurity and mounting political tension in the region. With most of the problems facing the region left largely unaddressed some 20 years after the NDDC was established, most Niger Deltans had hailed President Buhari's move to revamp the commission.
Anybody who says there should be no forensic audit, then that fellow has a problem, and that fellow is an enemy of the Niger Delta.
I am one of those, along with the Niger Delta people, clamoring for the outcome of the forensic audit. We need it so that we know how many contractors were paid and they didn't complete their project, or how many contractors were not paid. Forensic audit is the way out.
In March 2020, the first batch of lead forensic auditors was engaged and subsequently took delivery of documented contracts awarded by the Commission in the last 20 years. The event marked the official commencement of the NDDC forensic audit, which was instituted to end many years of corruption that left the Commission incapacitated to deliver on its mandate. The forensic audit, as Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio maintained, was not to witch hunt political opponents, but to retool the Commission's processes for efficient service delivery to largely backward and restive communities in the Niger Delta.
The forensic audit, to all intents and purposes, should be seen by all and sundry as the opportunity to assess our behaviors, our performances, our attitudes in the region. It is definitely not a witch hunt. Apart from righting the wrongs, it will also provide a strong base upon which a new Niger Delta will emerge. A Niger Delta that will plan for the post-amnesty initiative. A Niger Delta that will plan for the post-COVID-19 initiative. A Niger Delta that will plan to ensure that the children feel the impact of the environmental degradation and oil exploitation over the years. A Niger Delta where the even money that is put in can be seen. Not the region where you have 3-4 trillion passing through and then you drive through the region and you are full of tears.
While the forensic audit of the NDDC was ongoing, the Senate in May 2020 commenced a probe into alleged financial recklessness by the Commission. In another probe by the House of Representatives in July 2020, the federal lawmakers had asked the Commission to explain how over 81 billion naira was misappropriated by the former Interim Management Committee of the Commission between January and July 2020.
The issues raised are allegations, and therefore the NDDC, the Commission, has the opportunity to come forward and defend its position. But we have a mindset, and our mindset in the Senate is that we have to have a Niger Delta Development Commission that is effective and efficient in service delivery to the people of Niger Delta. This is the essence of setting up that commission.
This is an investigative hearing. We are here to just unravel the facts, and collectively, I believe we can work together to bring about a better Niger Delta. The National Assembly is an integral part of the Nigerian project. And one thing is definite. We need the cooperation of everybody to be able to do what we need to do.
The duplication in the probe of the NDDC was greeted with speculations of political maneuverings and horse trading by the executive and legislative arms of government. President Muhammadu Buhari, however, demonstrated his unwavering commitment to reforms in the NDDC when in August 2020, he released a sum of 722.3 million naira approved for 8 field forensic auditors engaged to undertake a forensic audit of the NDDC operations in a period of about 19 years. This was in addition to an earlier release of 300 million naira approved for lead forensic auditors, including a global renowned audit firm, Ernst & Young. Shortly after the second batch of 8 field forensic auditors was approved by the Federal Executive Council in September 2020, Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, had formally inaugurated the team with a call on its members to carry out their assignment diligently.
We are today witnessing another important milestone in our quest to ensure the actualization of the presidential directives to undertake the forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission. We are going to make available to you all audit reports of the years that are available. We also make available to you all reports made available through the presidential monitoring committees in the past years. It's your job to look at those reports to see whether there were areas where something was missing that could have contributed to the stunted growth of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
In what was generally viewed as an end to a long-standing brawl between the legislative and executive arms of government on the affairs of the NDDC, the National Assembly in December 2020 finally passed the Commission's budget for that financial year. The passage of the NDDC 2020 budget of 453.2 billion naira was effected after the Senate vowed not to approve the Commission's budget until its board was constituted. For most Niger Deltans, their region is the ultimate beneficiary in the decision by both arms of government to sink their differences and work as a team to resuscitate the ailing commission. Hopefully, the forensic audit of the NDDC will be concluded by April this year, at which time the ongoing inquest will have unraveled circumstances leading to the Commission's abandonment of over 12,000 projects across the Niger Delta from its inception in 2001 to August 2019.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the much we can take on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until next week, I am Mamode Akugha, thanking you for staying with us. Bye for now.